Justin from the UK, Kempton from Canada, Michael from Australia but currently in LA, will explain, Patty from Reno, and Tom from Reno. Thanks everybody for joining us. Appreciate it. Got a lot of topics today we want to go ahead and take care of. 5, in fact, usually we just do 4, so we're a little bit ahead of everything. But let's go ahead and start off with our top story. A Florida judge has granted bail for George Zimmerman. Zimmerman's bail was set at $150,000 for the shooting death of Trayvon Martin. Now he's charged with second-degree murder. Conditions for his bond include no weapons, alcohol, or drugs. He will have a curfew and be required to wear a GPS tracking service, or device, I should say. And he was released. He will not be released actually today, but he will be released later. Before the judge granted jail, Zimmerman took the stand and apologized to Martin's parents. Zimmerman says he shot Trayvon Martin in self-defense. Martin was unarmed. A lot's been talked about in this case, going back and forth, but here's the first kind of move forward. The case is moving forward, and bail's been set, etc., and he gets his chance finally to speak to the family. Let me go ahead and ask everybody about what you think about this. Let's start off with you, Justin. Your reaction, being from outside of the U.S., what are you thinking about this new info?
For me,
oh,
I think he's brave. I think he's brave. If they set bail and he gets out, I think there's so much media coverage. I hope he watches his back, because if it was me, I'd want to stay in and be safe. I think there's too many vigilante types now. This story's built up so much, it's got to a little bit of a dangerous level, and I'd be worried if it was me being let out.
Yeah, and just like somebody's got audio running in their background, if they could go ahead and cancel that out, that'd be great. We're hearing a woman's voice from behind it. It's not mine for sure. Let me go ahead. Tom, what do you think about this?
It's such a complicated case. I'm a firm believer that everybody has the right to defend their life if it's in danger. I don't know if it's easy to tell if that's what really happened here. I don't know. It's very complicated. I think whether he got granted bail or not, I agree with Justin. I hope he has some way to stay hidden or something. I think he's safer in jail than anywhere else right now.
Deano?
I'm actually just happy at this point that the justice system is moving forward. Whatever happens at this point, it kind of is what it is. As long as things are just moving forward with it.
Patty, what's reaction been on Facebook?
Melissa, Facebook, most of the viewers are saying that they believe he should get bail, but we have two sides of the coin, too, where one says Zimmerman provoked the attack, and the other said that the story's not very true on what Trayvon Martin actually looked like and his size, that he really was adult-sized and he was not a child.
So see, still at this point, people are still debating the facts of the case. But the fact is, at this point in time, a bail has been set for him, and he got a chance to talk to the family. Daniela, does that change things for you at all?
I agree with him being out on bail. I think that I'm a gambler, and if I had money on this, I would bet that he's not going to do anything that's against the law while he's out on bail. There's too much media coverage. He's too much in the public eye. I think we're pretty safe with him out and about.
I have to say that if I were him, I like some others had said, would rather stay inside jail. I don't know that he's going to find a safe place to stay at this point. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. If something horrible happened to your husband, or your loved one for that matter, who would you want to deliver the news? MSN is reporting that a pregnant Army wife says she learned of her husband's death in Afghanistan via Facebook. Here's what happened. Staff Sergeant Christopher Brown was killed by a bomb in early April. That's when a member of his platoon reached out to his wife, Ariel Taylor Brown, via Facebook. They said basically, call this woman immediately. Well, she called and she was told that her husband had died. This was hours before soldiers arrived at her home bearing the message. The military is investigating, and the soldier may face a court-martial. So let me ask you guys, what would you rather? Would you rather find out from someone from the person's platoon who may or may not have been there, we don't know whether or not this woman was, or from military personnel who are trained to go to your door? Chad?
I definitely have an opinion on this. They send people to your door because those people are going to evaluate you while they give you this news. They're professionals. They're grief counselors. They can catch you and pick you up. They can keep an eye on you and protect you from yourself. There's a lot of terrible stuff that can happen as this news is being broken. And doing it on the phone or on a social network doesn't give you that layer of protection that you really need in that time.
Michael?
Yeah, I'd agree with him with that. I prefer that that if that news is to be broken, that it be broken in with some respect and dignity, and personally, rather than by Facebook. I think that's really of poor taste.
Deano, you're in the Marines?
Yeah, I read the story and it immediately made me mad. It's like, I understand what the soldier was trying to do, but she completely broke chain of command. She went outside of what she was supposed to do, and she made a situation that was already going to be a nightmare for this woman a lot worse. I completely co-sign everything that Chad said.
I want Justin, let's talk about this. This is obviously the day of social media. Nothing is as it was before just, let's say, 2 years ago. Information at this point in time is streaming 24 hours a day, every single day of the year, and there is no real way to stop it. There's the good and there's the bad. I guess this is an example of the bad, Justin.
It's it's worrying. I mean, the one thing I love about the internet and news coverage and all this side of things is there is a freedom of information now, and everybody can swap stories. Things can go worldwide. We can all find out what we're all doing. The downside is we can all find out what we're all doing, and things can go worldwide. Which is what's happened here. I agree with Chad and with what Michael was saying. It's stepped out of the protocol of it. These things are set in motion for a reason, and to go and do this, and surely doing it through a social network of some sort. Anybody can read it, so it wasn't exactly keeping things so private either. But, putting it out on air, it's not a great thing, really.
Yeah, well, the issue is not private or not. I mean, it could have been a private message to her, and still could be wrong. And, in the past, the telephone exists for years, right? I mean, even the soldier in the same platoon picked up the phone calling her is still just as wrong. I agree with everyone, what everyone has said. The support network is there for a reason. It's not the promptness that is the key. It's not a breaking news that you want to break to the family members without all the support that is needed in this most tragic time.
Can I just add one thing real fast? I'm sorry. The issue I have is I don't care what medium was used. All she did was she contacted the wife and said, "Hey, call such and such right now. It's important." So it's not like the information was out there publicly that her husband was dead. But so I don't have an issue with the medium that was used. I have an issue with what she did. That was wrong. I don't care if she used a telephone, a text message, a Morse code, smoke signal. It was wrong.
So, but wouldn't you though want to hear from someone who was there or maybe has first-hand account, instead of somebody who's coming to your door that may not know and by the way, they're also told not to give these specifics a lot of times. Just full disclosure, family members in the military, at a certain point in time, he also had to deliver a message to a family of somebody who had passed away, and the rules are not to give the specifics right off the bat. So as a wife, I would think I would want to know what happened, and this woman at least gave her some answers to that. Daniela, is that wrong to say that would be possibly help for her?
It could possibly be helpful to her, and I think that as part of the grief process, she might choose to reach out to members of his platoon and ask for details. But at the time that the news is broken and before she's had a chance to process everything, the reason they have policies in place are because they know the best way to handle it, and her taking it upon herself wasn't right.
Patty, what's Facebook saying about it?
Melissa, we actually had 2 viewers comment that they received notification of deaths in their family via Facebook. One was not called by her siblings, just told over Facebook, and the other one said that his dad had Alzheimer's and was expecting it, so it came over via Facebook, and that was fine. The rest of the viewers just were very sad that happened and felt that the military should be the ones in charge of informing spouses.
So obviously this isn't the first case, and no doubt this will not be the last case. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. What is it with weight that has so many people on edge? Well, it seems as if a new trend has some asking for certain pictures to actually be banned. They're called thinspiration, glamorous photos of very skinny women together with admiring captions, and there's concern that these pictures might actually start women to maybe take part in anorexia or bulimia. Tumblr and Pinterest have taken measures to keep thinspiration at bay. Tumblr announced that it would shut down Tumblr blogs that actively promote what they're calling self-harm, including eating disorders, and Pinterest changed its terms of service to ban content that seemed to promote anorexia. The question is, right, like it or not, partake in it or not, should pictures be banned? Let me ask you guys what you think about this. Tom?
I'm not a fan of anything really being banned. I think to blame a picture for a disorder, a psychological disorder, is kind of a cop-out. I think that there's a lot of societal issues with it and parental issues with it, and we should definitely address those things, but to just outright ban images from the internet is silly, I think.
Kempton?
It's a really tough one. I mean, if you ask me, my gut instinct is those pictures really do a lot of harm, but then when we present in the frame of freedom of press or freedom of information, then it really challenges that deep held thought. Should that be let go and whatnot? Yeah, I can't really decide. Yeah.
Chad, slippery slope, isn't it, when you think about it? Because look at some of these pictures that we have nowadays just on the covers of magazines. A lot of talking about airbrushing, thinning out certain parts. So where is that line? Where is it okay?
Now, nothing goes out in front of my 6- and 9-year-old daughters without being photoshopped first. And I think that is a shame, but I think they're within their rights to do it. I think that you can be judged as morally bad. I think that people should shun you and maybe even boycott you, but as a decision that they're making in reaction to your right to post offending material like that.
Michael? You're a photographer. You take a lot of pictures. What is your thought about banning certain pictures that maybe profile a woman as being extremely thin, or having women put those pictures out there to show off how thin they're getting?
I just like taking pictures. I don't really mind about whether they're photoshopped because I don't necessarily need to. Just cleaning up the image is probably more important rather than actually changing body structure.
Banning, though? Banning pictures altogether because certain people think they're too thin? Are you comfortable with that? If it was your product?
Not really. No, because that's not my style. So, but if others choose to, they can.
Justin, what do you think?
They can do so.
Mm-hmm. Justin, what do you think?
To me, I agree with Tom, with what Tom was saying, and there's one reason. For me, it's no different to saying if you listen to hard rock music, you're more capable of committing suicide, and I think it's something that really is within each individual anyway. You can't really blame it on an image or music or whatever. It's got to be inherent in somebody to go a certain way in the first place.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. He's been called the most hated man on the internet, and now he's decided to give it up. The BBC is reporting that Hunter Moore got rich by publishing pornographic pictures of men and women without their permission, mostly thanks to their exes. The person's full name and location, even links to their social networking sites, would also be included on the site, which is called isanyoneUp.com. Then below each of the posts appeared a stream of comments, and they got pretty ugly. The article explains that if anyone complained, they'd be ridiculed. If they were basically threatening a kind of legal action, Mr. Moore would simply ignore it. Mr. Moore told the BBC, quote, "People think I'm completely evil and what I'm doing is completely immoral, but at the end of the day, I feel like I'm just educating people on technology," end quote. By the way, he's getting over 300,000 hits a day and making more than $12,000 a month in advertising revenue. Now, recently, Moore has announced that he is now handing over the domain to Bullyville, an anti-bullying social network. So let me go ahead and ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think this is basically, hey, you were silly enough to put the pictures out there, I'm simply silly enough to post them? Or this is him taking advantage of exes and being evil? Let me ask you and see what you guys think. Tom, what do you think?
I think it's both. I think, the rule I live by is don't take pictures of things I'm not willing to have other people see. You know, a digital image doesn't. You can't burn it. You can't. That's forever. That's you know, as long as there's ones and zeros, that image will exist. And you know, at the same time, I disagree on a moral issue, like a moral stance with what he's doing. But I don't think that, you know, I don't think that means he should have to stop if he wants to keep doing it. These people knowingly had pictures taken of them, and yeah, their trust was broken, but maybe they should have thought about that when they took the picture in the first place.
Who thinks here, raise your hand if you think that he was right. Maybe you don't like it morally, but he was right to do it. Yeah, Daniela, what do you think?
I absolutely believe in freedom of information and freedom of speech, and if you put yourself out there and put information out there and it gets passed on beyond the circle of who you thought it would be shared with, that's really you being silly.
So you're agreeing with him, saying basically he's educating people. Kempton, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, there's something called model rights. If you want to post someone's picture and whatnot, you get a release form signed and whatnot, and the guy is certainly making money off it. It's not news or anything. And so I think it's commercially it's violating the rights, and I don't know if there are criminal law that is being broken.
By the way, the FBI here in the U.S. says they are not investigating this. Chad, what do you think?
I do think that you have to be the person who protects your image and never ever do stupid things like put a picture like that out there. But I've also seen people in film working where they have to walk all the way up and down a street to get releases just on the off chance that a portion of someone's house would end up in a film. And something indecent like this, I can't imagine how legally they'd have the grounds to put someone's picture up there and not have an agreement to do so or even compensation for doing so.
Yeah, the people's faces have to be all blurred out and whatnot, and we've all seen those. I mean, yeah, it's just that this guy ignored all of those, and no one really take the legal actions and sue its butts off.
Justin, you got the last word.
I think it's a bit crazy actually, where he's saying he's doing it to educate people in technology. It sounds like a really, really feeble excuse to get some saucy images out on the internet.
And obviously he was quite popular, so he was making some money, and now he's giving it over. Hopefully he'll turn over a new leaf and it'll go in the right direction. Let's go to our last topic. Is getting the money shot wreaking havoc with emergency personnel during major storms? Some say yes. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that during the last major tornado event in Oklahoma, emergency vehicles racing to keep an eye on the storm that was splitting basically out tornadoes in every different direction ran into 2-mile-long lines of traffic. The traffic jam was caused by researchers, storm spotters, tour guides, and simply the curious. The ragtag band of amateur weather spotters has grown in recent years due to TV shows, they say, like Storm Chasers, cheaper technology for tracking weather, and social media sites where people can post news and videos of the latest storm. Officials point out that professional meteorologists may risk their lives to provide weather warnings to the public and conduct valuable research, but are quick to draw a line between them and amateurs who hope to become the next YouTube sensation. I'm starting off here with Michael, because Michael talks quite a bit about something called social cam, where people can go out and basically do their own video and post it up. I'm guessing kind of like a news bit. You can do all the production stuff that you need to through social cam. I'm guessing no doubt social cam lovers, and there are many, would be posting stuff like this to social cam, and you like social cam. What do you think about this, about people basically going out into a storm and risking their lives, potentially the lives of others, because they want to have that hot shot?
But perhaps these people are local people to that area, and they know the conditions, and they're well aware of the risk involved and where to do. So posting a video about an oncoming storm and getting out of cover, from what I've seen of the movies that have been shown and the other events that have been shown, there are steps that people do, like get down into the basement, get away from windows, doors, a bathroom if there's one, like leave the windows open, all that sort of stuff are really important. So, but using social cam just gets the information out really quickly, especially as a news source, and anyone can use it.
Yeah, but Michael, what about them using something like, social media, social cam, Twitter, YouTube, whatever? What about them going out and clogging up the roadways for emergency personnel who need to get there? These looky-loos don't need to get there. They just want to get there, to get that great shot. Much like the media, let me say. We're not, I'm not excluding ourselves. We, too, want to get that great shot. But isn't there a time and place to do it, and it's not to get in the way of emergency personnel?
Hopefully they're not getting in the way of emergency personnel. I mean, the laws are very similar to ours in Australia, where you actually pull over and let the emergency get through. So it's not, me all in, and they know the risks. So they need to get out of the way. I agree with that, very much so.
Patty, what's everybody saying on Facebook about it?
They're actually saying that they like the storm chasers. So they think that the extra additional amateurs may cover more storms and may be able to give more information to the rest of the people in the viewing area.
We're going to go ahead and welcome in Jason from Truckee area, correct? So Jason, talk to us a little bit about, you were around the area when we had all the breaking news here in the Reno-Tahoe area. We had a lot of people going into certain areas. One of the things that police were saying to us most often, especially with the fires, is, hey, tell everybody not to go into those areas. We need to get in there first, and don't go in and take pictures. You're just congesting the area. But in the same respect, some of those people were the ones who were giving us the information that we needed first. Your opinion, should the rookies, we'll call them, go out there, or should they stay home and let professionals do the job? For the lack of maybe us not getting info.
I think it's a fine line, and doing fires is different than tornadoes, because tornadoes, for example, typically don't have a lot of emergency personnel that have to get somewhere fast. They're not going to stop the tornado by getting there fast. When you have a fire, you really need to let the firemen and the police and anybody that needs to get there, you need them to have access to it. So I think that's an important recognition in the differences. But if people are putting themselves in harm's way, that's one thing. It's another when they're slowing emergency personnel that's trying to respond.
Anybody want to have the last word?
Sure. This is a good opportunity for public education, teaching people the right protocols for when you're doing that sort of thing and how to get the heck out of the way when somebody actually needs to be somewhere. That would be a handy thing for people to know. Yeah, and maybe, if you're getting money off of the number of hits that you're getting for your website or for YouTube, consider, is that money worth possibly risking somebody's life because you want to get that great shot? That's my opinion. And actually, I have the last word. Thanks, everybody, for being part of a webcast. I know, Chad, sorry, took it from you. We'd love to have you to be part of a webcast as well. All you need is a Gmail account, then at G+. It's as easy as that. If you've got questions, email me, mckrnv@gmail.com. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Colleen!
Woo!
Woo, woo.
You guys in the chat.
I know, that got out of control.
Man.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay on topic when you're in the chat.
I have a request. I know the chat is hot, and it always is, but my request is, if we're talking about a serious story, try not to do...
Yeah. Fighting that off a lot lately.
Can you fight that off? I know there's going to smile, but just try. And it kills me, too, because I can't read the ding-dang chat because I have this one shot, and if I pull it, someone was like, oh, what are they talking about in that damn chat?
You don't want to talk about death and destruction and reading about Dustin's lower third at the same time. It just, it's not a good mix.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Guys.
So just one on Wednesdays, like discussion day when we had the Hangout open, we actually had for the students, we had the Hangout open and the chat as well, so they could see what was going on in that, and they actually got a really good perspective of how it works. It was quite interesting. So to see that whole perspective.
I saw a lot of people in the Hangout saying hello from Vienna, hello from. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was really cool. But I was in another part of, in another building on another connection, and so I got to hear different stories about from there, and I got Matt Markovich going around with the Alley kit on his iPhone and stuff, and that was the first time I actually saw a lot of that, so that I could see what it looked like on screen. and how much better I actually look for depth of field and all the rest of it. So
What
it's really
are
cool
you guys
fun.
talking about?
The NAB conference.
Oh.
The NAB conference.
Yeah, NAB.
Yeah, the one you had to leave for.
Yeah,
Mhm.
don't mention it.
No, I will.
Anyway,
I will.
Melissa,
Yes.
what story are you going to do, and let's get that out of the way for you.
Yeah, so we're going to do Zimmerman. It's because we're leading out of Zimmerman for the first block, so we're going into Zimmerman first. I know, but we're going to do Zimmerman. And then what would you guys like for the second one? Let me just refresh your
Let's
memory.
do the Facebook one.
The woman who found out on
The woman.
Facebook?
Yeah, I think that's motive enough to push it.
Okay, Facebook. So yeah, we have Facebook. We have the guy who banned the pictures from that site, and the money shot, the one we were just talking about. It's inspiration.
Just do
Oh,
the Facebook. The Facebook one's probably the most offending one of the whole lot.
okay.
Yeah, probably.
So we've
You
got
know, and we
Deanna.
can
We've
be
got
respectful about that.
Patty. Tom, are you around for a live hangout in the noon?
Actually, I don't think I can do that today.
Okay. Thanks.
It's good to know you're still doing 2 a day, though.
Still doing 2.
Cool. Maybe
Yeah.
next time I can stick around for both.
Love it. Thanks, Tom, for coming by.
No problem. I'll see you guys later.
See ya. Hey,
Stay cool,
Jason,
man.
can you stick around?
Yeah, I can do the. Does it start at noon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Full, but
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, good. And anybody else want to come in? We need a 4th person for the noon. Michael?
Don't everybody volunteer at once.
I've got stuff piling up on me over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I got
worries,
stuff
guys.
to take care.
I appreciate it. So we've got Deanno, Patty, Jason, and Michael. Sound good?
I've got 12 hours to kill.
I can be a backup. I'm just not 100% I can be here, so I don't want to commit.
Awesome.
So,
I'll invite you anyway.
Danielle, you're going to be eye candy, are you?
Danielle's going to be eye candy for today.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
Everybody has to take their turn, Daniela. Everybody takes their turn with the eye candy. I was it the other day. We all take our turn. No, but it's good in case someone else pops out. So we've got Michael, we've got Jason, we've got Deanno, and Daniela. All right? You guys see this yellow spot right here?
Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy.
On
weird.
the
What
neck,
is
that
that?
looks...
Yeah, a little bit.
silly.
Isn't that weird?
It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
It's like you got a
Blue
hickey from
reflection.
Pac-Man or something.
Yeah. Something is about Pac-Man and I, you know. It's something's up with our camera today. I don't know. We came in. You can see all back here too. You see all this pixelation here.
Yeah.
I just blame Sean. It's all Sean's fault.
It is Sean's fault, and he's not here to hear it, but it is his fault. All right, guys, I'm headed upstairs. I will see you back here in a
Good
couple
that he
minutes.
can't defend himself.
That's why I like to say it now.
All right.
See ya.
All right, so
Okay.
funny.
You guys have fun. Bye-bye.